Hey, Mark Williams here, and this is part two of my awakening journey. And in the last video, I just gave a little background about what things were like for me pre-awakening, and then talked about just being able to get some distance between my awareness and my thoughts and my patterns to be able to start to wake up and clean up the toxicity that was going on in my inner world. And so after that, once I started to get a handle on that, I really went into a lot of shadow work. I started journaling every single day, which I have journaled every day for the last 8 years now. And just cataloging the patterns, just being brutally honest with myself, learning to feel stuff, learning to accept what was going on without judgment. Just a beautiful acceptance. I really started to love myself. And I started to realize how much I had hated myself previously and how that led to me acting in a way where I acted like I didn't like other people. So it's this continuum of I don't like myself, therefore I don't like others. And it really leads to some big problems in relationships, friendships, etc., of course. I started to love myself. And then there was this continuum of love falling from myself out to other people. And there was this sense of spaciousness, a sense of unity consciousness where I felt a sense of oneness with everyone. I certainly still felt my own individuality too, of course, but there was just a deep connection with other people that I had never felt before. And I actually started really enjoying people, and I started making new friends. I had gotten to the point, upper 40s, low 50s, where a lot of my friends had moved out of town. I didn't really have any good friends at that point. But now, as I look at this whole awakening journey now, I have lots of amazing friends that are just beautiful people, and that's been such a wonderful dimension to this awakening. And so as the shadow work continued, the way the shadow work works in awakening for me, the way I see it is that as you process these patterns and you let them go, you free up more and more consciousness, more and more spaciousness, more and more joy and peace, more and more of the underlying natural state of peace and joy that is inherently there underneath all the noise of our minds. I started to really unlock more and more of that and just get more and more freedom, more and more joy. And then, I started reading more, like Michael Singer, for example, has been a big influence. I highly recommend him, talking about the inner voice and, why do we have a narrative in our heads about our life? Well, that's a whole topic for another video for sure. And then a pivotal point was when I started getting into Joe Dispenza in late 2021. And then I attended his week-long retreat in Marco Island, Florida in early 22. And that's where I discovered the importance of energy and energetics in awakening. I had in a meditation there this deep experience of kundalini rising, intense energy, and this experience of cosmic consciousness where I was just completely blissed out, one with everything, this beautiful knowledge, this beautiful absolute knowing that I am okay and there's no separation and there's no judgment and everything is so beautiful and you are taken care of. And it was so joyous, so energetic. Like it felt afterwards like there was some kind of biological upgrade that happened in that experience, because it just released some energy, some trapped energy, some stuck energy in the body, and really accelerated my awakening after that. There was a bit of a honeymoon period with that, because it kind of it was crazy intense, and then it faded away, and I had to integrate that insight. And I would say now that's more my experience of everyday life now, but it's not of a great intensity. Like you can't maintain a maximum intensity all the time. So sometimes we can have these realizations, they can be really intense, and then we need to integrate them, and then they come back to us in a much more calm, natural state that is integrated and feels much more normal. So I definitely would recommend Dr. Joe's progressive course that you can find on his website. And I think attending his events is really pretty amazing, because when you get over 1,000 people together with a similar intention, there's just an energy to that is so palpable and undeniable. And so I will stop here for part 2. We'll pick up part 3 in a minute here. Thanks for watching.